everybody, I'm Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. Join me this week with the guys as we talk Xbox on the Xbox One Party Chat podcast.
Xbox on.
Game on, baby! Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Hello everybody and welcome to Xbox One Party Chat, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I am your host Ross and I'm joined by Richard and Mikey.
Hey guys.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, so now I should really introduce you guys by your Reddit usernames because you are both moderators on the Xbox One subreddit. So Richard, I believe you're known as Classy Turkey.
Yep, that's what I'm known as.
And Mikey, you're Mikey J. Raymond.
Yeah, totally, that's me.
Now, the guys that listen to this podcast every week may remember your voices from the script reading that we did.
Oh, God.
For Time 9.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys, actually, we're going to get things started just because we've not really had a chance to chat before. And Clay, I must apologise on his behalf, as he's currently sunning it up in Portugal.
Oh, that mean guy just enjoying his trip.
Exactly. So he can't join us for this week, unfortunately. But yeah, you guys do a lot of work for the subreddit, mainly on the themes, so I'm led to believe. So, Richard, do you want to talk to me a little bit about what you two do for the themes?
Sure. You guys know we do a lot of custom themes. We do have a big game coming out, or let's say Mikey likes a game and he wants to make one specifically for that. He goes for it, and that's what we do. I came on about a year ago doing the motion graphics work, so any of our animated logos, we've kind of ramped them up a little bit. Our particles and stuff, Mikey does a really good job at. My biggest theme, you may remember, is the Rare theme. That was a full-on one of the biggest themes I've done. Everything had an animation to it, and all worked on all browsers. So it's one of the good things that we do.
Must be a lot of
Mikey?
fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I program as well. I mean, most of it's web based, so I already had a back end on it, and I have my degree in web design. So I moved that over and did the same stuff for the Reddit with just CSS. I mean, yeah, anything else, Mikey?
Oh, like I was telling you guys before, basically with me and Richard, it's just us trading back and forth between Mo and the Three Stooges. Delicious Cheese also kind of deserves a lot of credit too. He does a lot of the boring back-end work that nobody else likes to do. He does all the color coordination, but he's really the backbone for us. If we didn't have him, it'd be a lot more work on our end, and I don't think we could do it without him.
I agree.
Superb. Well, later on in this episode, we have an interview, or a chat even, with IGN's own Ryan McCaffrey, who was the Xbox editor. I think they've mixed it all up within IGN now that they all do everything, but he was the Xbox editor for a lot of years. So we haven't recorded that yet, so we don't know how it's went. But I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, and we start every single week with discussing exactly what we've been playing. So Mikey, what have you been playing this week?
Am I allowed to say that I've been playing on my PC?
Yeah.
Overwatch came out, so I took it upon I have a lot of friends who play PC games. They used to play 360. A lot of them moved on to PC. I still got a lot of Xbox friends, but we don't really align time-wise, so I took it upon myself to play Overwatch, and wow, it wasn't on my radar before, but this game, I don't know why, it's super addicting to me. The colors, the graphics, usually they're not that enticing to me, but the color palette is way better than what you get from, say, oh God, just name any other game. You look at Battlefield, they're all grayed out. This game is colorful, it pops out, it's in your face. That and the gameplay is super tight. So I've been playing a lot of Overwatch.
So no love for Battleborn, just saying. Just going to throw that out there, Mikey.
You know, people want to do that for the game night, and I didn't even think about that because I thought everyone disliked it, but I'm going to have to give it a shot too.
Yeah, no, I personally Battleborn over Overwatch. I prefer Overwatch myself, but playing this week, I'm actually going to go back and say I Rocket League. I've actually that's been the only game I've been playing this week. I finished up Quantum Break last week as well. I know Reese is working his way through that, but
Yeah.
finished that all up. Really enjoyed the story. So then I went back to playing Rocket League because I haven't played in 2.5, 3 weeks. I've been a little busy, had a few things happen this week and before planning my wedding. I haven't talked about that, so.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so I've been playing this week. I've been playing a bit of Rocket League, although I do only play the hockey mode. So.
Oh my, only hockey.
Yeah, it's the only mode I play.
What's your opinion on hoops?
I haven't given it a good enough go yet. My wife doesn't like it, and Rocket League is definitely the game that I sit and play with my wife, split screen. So I haven't really given it a good chance yet, but I will. I will give it a shot.
I feel like hoops is designed for the people that just like to smash the ball. It
Yeah.
goes in a lot more often accidentally. I noticed that.
I think people are going to get a lot better at flying, using the boost and flying with it.
Yeah, the aerial
because it
shots are a
forces
big part with hoops.
And people take that into their normal game as well, you know, so it might improve some players across all modes essentially. But so we usually discuss what's been happening in the subreddit this week, and we all bring a story to the table, or we all discuss one at least. So Richard, what have you got for us?
Well, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest ones going on right now. I mean, not even just this last week, but this whole last month. It's on the top 3. User Gentleman21 posted Battlefield 1's official reveal trailer. I mean, I'm super excited for this Battlefield game. Just after this trailer alone, where they're going back to World War One, we're finally getting one. After everyone online was begging and begging to go back to World War One, we're finally getting it.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I really, really wanted an old style game. I had so much fun in 1942 back on the PC that I got so excited for this. I actually watched the whole live stream, and for anyone else that watched that knows how torturous it was. But just to get the
sitting there waiting. Oh man, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you sat and waited for ages just to get the trailer. Then they played it again, and yeah.
You're like, I don't care about the last ones. Go on.
Yeah. If you need someone to do your hosting, you know, there's 3 guys on this podcast right now. We can come and do it for you. But yeah,
love to
work. But anyway, like, a wrestling term, but I marked out for it. As soon as you seen that blimp at the end of the trailer as well, and the mustard gas, which was probably quite controversial, but it just looks like everything you would want from a World War One shooter, from what they showed us. And that's all an engine as well, is that right?
Yeah, it was like their in-engine cutscene. They did the same thing with Battlefront last year, I believe.
Yeah. And
with the reveal trailer.
It looks great, though.
Oh, yeah, it looks awesome. Like, for me, I'm going to admit something. I know a lot of people like this, but, like, World at War, Call of Duty, I hated it. I ended up going back to COD 4 for, I think I ended up having 30 days played on it. And for whatever reason, though, when I saw this, I'm just so sick of futuristic shooters that when I saw this, I got so excited. Like a little kid. I haven't felt that way in a long time.
What's your guys' thoughts on, but they said that there is going to be land, air, and sea battles in Battlefield 1. So we're going to get all range of battle.
Are we going to get submarines?
I don't know if we're going to get submarines, but I do believe they said land, air, and sea. So I'm assuming something's going to happen.
I'm trying to remember. This sounds terrible. I'm an American. I can't remember if we had. I'm pretty sure we had submarines in World War One. Very rudimentary, right? Like
I wasn't born then, so yeah. No. No, like...
Could I Google it quick?
Would you really want submarines?
I just think it'd be kind of new and different. What is it? There's a game on PC where you drive hot air balloons, and I saw the Zeppelins, so I'm kind of excited for that too.
Yeah.
But there's a team mechanics. Like, you have somebody working the engines, you have somebody driving, somebody shooting, and it's similar to the way that helicopters work now. You got a guy constantly repairing, someone shooting out the side, someone flying. And I think submarines would work really well if they could get them in.
Yeah, well, it's something to give thought. One thing they did announce is horses. So
I'm wondering how that's going to work.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. Like,
That seems like a vehicle that would instantly blow up.
well, right, so how are they going to repair
One shot
it?
and it's dead?
Like, so are you going to get, if you repair it, a little guy standing behind the horse with a blowtorch? You know, like,
carry
how's
around
that
little
going to work?
carrots and then feed them to him like Zelda and Link.
It could be a campaign thing. You know, it's not been confirmed that it will be in the multiplayer, but it's an exciting trailer in comparison to some of the trailers we've had over the last year. I really, really got into this, and I've watched it 5 or 6 times since then.
Well,
I
you're
watched it
not
10
the
times
only. I
to
would
see
say you're not the only one because it's just about to hit 15 million views on just that trailer.
Yeah, like that alone is unbelievable, you know, in this short space of time, and they really made it an event. Yes, there was leaks about what it was called and everything else leading up to it, but there was a bit in the back of my mind that went, I'm not 100% sure that that's what it's going to be.
You should have seen the argument between us and all the mods over just the image that appeared on the Xbox homepage. We're like, oh, that's a modern shotgun. No, that's a trench gun. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's going to be time travel. No, World War I. Back and forth.
Also, can we make it official that is not a cape? Come on,
it's a trench coat.
It's a trench coat. There's people that were like, oh, look at that cape. It's like, what are you talking about? It's a trench coat.
Yeah, how do you think it got its name exactly? But look, well, I've got a follow-on story to that because it wasn't the only first-person shooter trailer to drop in the last 7 days. User RaiderJ2 posted the story that the Modern Warfare 1 remaster that comes with COD Infinite Warfare is not going to be sold separately.
Ooh.
Yeah, that did not settle well with the community.
So yeah, that's what I was going to say. There is a lot of negativity that the remaster is only accessible from behind the purchase of Infinite Warfare. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. You know, is this a bad decision?
Well,
will it put you off purchasing the game?
I'm going to be getting it, and I thought about it. You know, I wasn't happy at first, but I thought about it, and they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place in this one. Let's say they sold it separately, and they both came out at the same time. What happens to the community player base on each game?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have a huge split, and you won't have enough people playing each. If you're going to sell the product at the same time, you kind of have to push them out both like together in one package, so that way at least people who are playing COD 4 also have Infinite Warfare. So you at least know that they have the product rather than completely splitting the player bases and you don't get both people owning them.
I'm going to bring up that one of our users basically came out and said, Bardus, he was the top commenter, he thinks it's complete marketing. I mean, all it is the same thing happened back with the original, with COD, with Black Ops 1. They actually released the original COD pack 2 months or 3 months later after they said, oh, no, you're only going to be able to purchase, you're only going to be able to get this with Black Ops 1. So I think I'm going to follow that in 2 to 3 months. I think it's going to get released separately. They say they're not going to do it, but they are, I think.
And you know, I think it's a mixture of the two. I think the perfect solution would have been if they released, I guess we still don't know. Did they confirm that it was releasing at the same time?
No, that's what I was going to say, is have they actually said it's releasing at the same time? Because I really can't see them splitting their player base like that.
Well, see, I'm going off of the fact that the dashboard says 11/4, I believe, for the COD 4 remaster.
Right, okay.
So I believe that's the same date. The perfect scenario would be if they released it early or later, because then you get people playing it and they can switch over and vice versa. And I think that would be much better than something. They could even, okay, so what is it, $80 for the whole package, right?
Something like that, yeah.
You and I'm not trying to give Activision ideas here, but they could have even gotten away with selling the base game for $60, and some people would have bought the remaster for $40. They could even make more money had they sold it before or after at a higher price. $20 to me is crazy price for that. So even though they have to sell it together, I actually think it's a really good deal. I might be one of the only ones, though.
Well, I think what people are saying is, well, I only really want the remaster, so why do I have to buy and pay more for this game? Like, for me, if a remaster costs more than what the original game did, that's not right. And if you only want to play the remaster, from the information that we have now, you have to pay more than what the initial release of that game was just to play it again.
I can see that argument. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see why people might be a little salty, let's just say.
Yeah, like I'm not into COD at all. I'm definitely, I won't be picking this up. But I'm guessing, Mikey, you will be from what you've described.
I'm one of those former sponsored COD players, so I like the competitive side.
Yeah, remind me never to play with you.
Since you already said that you're going to probably be picking it up, how about this though?
Yeah.
Between Call of Duty, Battlefield 1, and Titanfall 2,
Ooh.
what do you know? Like, based upon what you know right now about the games, which one are you going to get if you only could pick one?
That's what I was going to ask. Can I pick them all?
I would pick really hard. I lost my trust in Battlefield, in DICE and EA with Battlefield 4. I was part of that whole debacle.
They did fix it a year later.
I
don't. Everyone keeps stressing that, but I want to stress the fact that it took them a year.
It took them a year to fix it. It took them a year to fix it, and it really gave me a salty feeling towards DICE and EA on that.
In their defense, so quick. What is it? CTE, Community Test Environment.
Yeah.
The other studio came out with that, and they've done an absolute wonderful job, and that's why it's fixed. I think with that in place, I don't believe we have anything to worry about with Battlefield 1. I think they learned their lesson. Fingers crossed.
Also, they did Battlefront since then as well, which was a big relaunch. They cannot afford for that to happen again, really.
No.
I was just saying because of that, and I'm not the biggest COD player, I'm going to have to say Titanfall 2 because I had a big I mean, they did great with Titanfall. Sadly, the community dropped off a little quick on it. I loved playing.
That's what happens when you only have 6 guns.
I know. That's the thing. They need to expand on all of the weapons and et cetera. I mean, the Titans, they need to expand on it. It was just too little content. It was worth it, and I love the gameplay, but there was too little content within the game. But as of right now, I'd have to go Titanfall 2 because I can trust them, and I know that they did good work. So that's just my part.
For me, Titanfall 2 just has to bring in the customization. I want my 3 base levels, as we've discussed before, and just make them customizable. I think Clay said this a couple of weeks ago. But that's not my pick. Battlefield is a day one purchase for me. And I'm going to play that so much. And that's just based upon what I know now. It just looks great. I still play Battlefield 4 now and again. I played a lot of Battlefield 3. And back when I was a little teenager, I played a lot of like 1942 and games like that. So I am genuinely excited. I'm only allowed to pick one, so I was going to say if it's a second choice, it'd be Titanfall. Sorry,
I mean, realistically, I know for me, I'm getting all 3, but if I had to pick one, and it's not because of the visual aesthetics or anything, it's purely because I like to be competitive. Call of Duty. For me, when I played Battlefield, I really wish they could somehow bring the competitive aspect out. Battlefield is not competitive in a tight environment. I mean, it's fun, and you get really close games, I get that, but you can't make an esport out of it. And same goes for at least the first Titanfall, because of all the AI and stuff. It's not nearly as competitive. I think my KD was 8, and that was versus pilots, because it was just such a mixture of AI and other people. But with COD, I get that adrenaline rush from competing, from beating someone else, from having a close game, and like being the one that makes the difference. And I don't get that in the other games.
It's funny that we've all got different opinions here. We've all picked something different. So
let's say we did not plan this. Every single person, we did not talk beforehand. No. It just happens to be that each one of us picked a separate game.
Well, anyway, yeah. Well, moving on now, I mentioned it earlier. We now have the amazing Ryan McCaffrey from IGN joining us. So we're now joined by Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. Welcome to the podcast, Ryan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Fantastic. Well, look, we're just going to get straight in there with some questions because that's why you're here, so we can ask you some questions. And I'm really sorry about how hardcore these questions are. Oh, I'm not trying to make you worried. And of course, from the podcast as well, Mikey and Richard are still here with me as well.
Hi.
Hey, everyone.
So, Ryan, now you started your Xbox career working for the official Xbox magazine. And what actually got you the job doing that?
Well, when I knew I wanted to try and do this, to try and write, for a games magazine or games website, wanted to try and write about games for a living. And as I was wrapping up my journalism degree at Arizona State University, got my degree there, and then as soon as I graduated, I just started emailing out a resume and a letter to literally every game magazine or website I could think of. Of course, back then, this was 2002, it was mostly magazines and not as many websites. And I just got very lucky that Official Xbox Magazine was one of the few that replied and said, "Oh, actually, we do happen to have an opening. So why don't you send us some writing samples?" And so I did that. I went to the grocery store, to the newsstand, and bought OXM, which I'd never actually looked at before, and started to get to know it, and just started. And then from there, I sent them writing sample after writing sample. I just kind of kept going. I figure I might as well, I don't want to let this opportunity go. And I got lucky that they said, okay, we'd like to fly you out. I was still in Arizona at the time. We'd like to fly you out for an interview to the San Francisco area, where I'd literally never been in my life. So flew out, and right before that, I decided, okay, well, if I've got a job interview with these guys, I should probably get an Xbox, because I had been a PC guy up to that point. I'd been an total PC gamer for many years. I mean, I didn't start that way, but basically Doom was the game that turned me into a PC gamer, and I was a PC gamer all through the 90s, or most of them anyway. So I bought an Xbox, and I bought Halo, and I started playing it, and went for my job interview, and I guess they liked me enough to give me the job, and the rest is kind of history. So it's kind of a mix of good fortune and perseverance. I like to say that I was very fortunate to get the opportunity, but then once I was given the opportunity, I really seized it and just wasn't gonna. I was gonna give it everything I had, and I was lucky enough to land the job.
All right, so you've interviewed some of the greats, and last year at E3, you had an amazing opportunity to have all three heads of Xbox on. What is it like interviewing some industry giants like Phil Spencer, Peter Moore, and Seamus Blackley?
It was surreal at the time. Like, in the moment, I was sitting there at the desk. I had pages of questions and notes in front of me. I was like an ESPN reporter. And I was just like, and I was kind of having a hard time believing it was happening, because I spent about 6 months working on that. I first had the idea at the beginning of last year. I said, you know what, it'd be really cool, because my original plan was going to be our 200th episode of Podcast Unlocked, and the original plan was there was going to be a live audience there with those guys, and for various reasons that aren't important now, it didn't quite come together that way, but ended up I was able to somehow get all three of them in the same place at the same time, which, when you're dealing with executives like that, I learned that those guys have ridiculous schedules that get filled up so far in advance, and it's kind of half a miracle that they all managed to show up at the same place at the same time, and I just made sure I was really well prepared. But yeah, in the moment, it was just like, wow, this is actually happening. And even like 20 minutes into it, when they clearly all just had a respect and a mutual admiration for each other, and they were all very comfortable with each other, and they seemed to trust me enough to even show up in the first place, and it really just it went better than I could have even hoped it ever could have.
I couldn't imagine. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't even know. I literally don't think I can ever top that. Like as far as an interview, like that's probably you should just stop following me and stop paying attention to me now, because I don't think it's ever going to get better than that.
Yeah,
that was
that's
just,
like top.
That was
Did you already,
it really,
you already hit
yeah.
your peak?
That was it. Yeah, I peaked. That was it. Now I got to get the next goal. I got to get Jay Allard out of hiding. Jay Allard's the next target. That guy is up. Jay is hiding on a mountain on a bicycle in Oregon somewhere. I gotta get him.
You might have to go to him, I think.
Well, okay. Well, we'll move to the next question, where you might have already answered this, but I mean, we were going to ask, if you could pick anyone, who is your dream interview? Like the top of the line dream interview that you could reach?
I mean, in the Xbox world, it would be Jay Allard at this point. He's kind of the big one left. The big he's the white whale left to get. You know, I was so lucky last year with Phil and Seamus and Peter Moore. I mean, in sort of if we move outside of the world of Xbox for a second, Elon Musk would actually be the one guy. There are two actually. It'd be Elon Musk, and then who I've tried to get, and of course, no, it's really difficult. And then another guy I actually tried to get last year because it was a 30th anniversary, and I made it. I was able to get an answer through a representative, but my other dream interview would be Bill Watterson, the creator of Calvin and Hobbes, which is my all-time favorite comic. Which of course, the comic's long gone, but yeah, in the gaming, in the Xbox space, I think Jay Allard's kind of the last guy who's had such a tremendous influence on the Xbox over the years, and I've never actually sat down with him.
Now, a really, really important question here. What are you having for lunch?
Well, I'm just getting over the flu, so I'm not even sure I'll have lunch. We'll see. It's the lunch situation is a little dicey still.
I'm quite disappointed with that answer, to be honest.
This will probably be the most controversial question that we ask. What's your own personal reaction to the COD versus Battlefield debate? And if you could mix in Titanfall with that, like, what do you see as being the go-to game of this year?
I just appreciate that they're all doing something different. I'm pleased at all three. I mean, the only Call of Duty, because I really play for the campaigns. I don't play the multiplayer as much anymore. So I'm in it for the campaigns, I guess, so I should caveat that with all three of these. And Call of Duty-wise, I liked Advanced Warfare's campaign, but other than that, I haven't really liked the campaign in Call of Duty for several, if not more, years. Battlefield's never had a particularly great campaign, and Titanfall just didn't have a campaign. So I'm excited to see what Titanfall's campaign is, and I'm excited that, I mean, we do have a lot of space and future warfare kind of games, so, but with Call of Duty, they brought on some ex-Naughty Dog guys at Infinity Ward for this game, so I'm definitely willing to give them a chance and see what they've got. And then for Battlefield, I'm thrilled that they're going back to the World War era, and specifically World War I, which we really haven't seen before. So I'm just happy that they're all doing something a little different, and they're not just both the same. They're not all three the same game.
So you mean you're not out there clicking dislike on YouTube?
I was about to bring that up, because as of right now, Call of Duty, the new trailer for it, is one of the most disliked game trailers.
Yeah, I think it reached 1 million.
Where Battlefield now is the most liked game trailer ever on YouTube.
I mean, well, isn't the whole dislikes thing mostly because of the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare remastered being bundled in and not being offered separately? I thought that was sort of the crux of it. So
I was going to say, there's even rumors that you need the disc in supposedly to play the game, but I don't know if that's just rumor at the moment, but we don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But it seems to have gone down quite negatively. I think it's hearing the industry or the professionals like yourself's opinion on that.
So yeah, I don't even think it's necessarily commentary on Infinite Warfare itself. I think it's more commentary on the bundling aspect of it. So, the thing is, millions of people are going to buy Call of Duty no matter how many dislikes it gets, which, as long as they keep making a compelling game, which, again, Call of Duty's kind of, it's not been the same for me as it was years ago, but again, millions of people love it every year. So I just want an interesting campaign. I know most people care about the multiplayer. I know I'm an outlier there, but I hope they're all great because they're all coming out seemingly at the same time. So it's going to be quite the head-to-head battle there.
So, kind of switching to another shooter, let's move on to Halo. I mean, you're a great Halo player yourself, so what do you want to see next in that series?
I want to see a good single-player campaign because Halo 5 is by far the worst Halo campaign. It's not even close. It's such a disaster on so many levels. The story, the design, it's just the characters. It was a mess. Conversely, the multiplayer is, in my opinion, the best Halo multiplayer since Halo 2. So they totally went. It's like just total opposite to yin and yang with that package. But and I know Halo 4 was very divisive. A lot of people didn't like Halo 4, specifically the campaign or the multiplayer. I loved Halo 4. I mean, that's my review for that is still on IGN, and you can still go see how much I loved it. But I particularly loved the single player game. I really loved how it was such a personal story for Master Chief, which we really hadn't seen in a Halo game before. But 5 just went the wrong direction. So I really hope they just kind of keep the good times rolling on multiplayer. But God, I hope there's some way to salvage that single player.
Let's say, as a Halo player myself, I've been playing since Halo 1 too, Halo 1 as well. I can't agree with you more on Halo 4. I mean, I remember going through that single player and pulling at your heartstrings, actually like seeing Chief go through these emotions you've never seen him have. Totally. And then you go to 5 and it's like, what happened with the story?
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have to beat the dead horse, but I was so excited that they were going to have Blue Team because I've read the first 3 or 4 Halo books, and these are Chief's buddies, and it was all handled so badly. But yeah, again, I don't want to beat the dead horse, but I'm really hoping that 343 is honest with themselves about that campaign and is taking a serious introspective look to figure out how to fix it for Halo 6.
Maybe they should be getting the Naughty Dog writers instead of Infinity Ward. If you want a laugh, I never played a Halo game until the Master Chief Collection.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
welcome to Xbox.
No, I always had an Xbox and always wanted to play through them, but the time was my early 20s and I was more interested in going out than really get invested in games, and I thought I'll play them at one point, and something like the Master Chief Collection allowed me to do it. So I've only recently went through all the stories pretty much back to back. I quite liked Halo 5. I don't know why, but I just enjoyed it. But I'm maybe not as hardcore as you guys.
There's nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with liking it. It's okay to have differing opinions, and I wish more people online would really understand that. Like, it's actually healthy to have differing opinions.
Now, working for IGN is not your only venture. You also have a Tesla Motorcars podcast and your own T-shirt business. Do you want to tell us more about those?
Yeah, I mean, they're both just sort of passion projects that are just fired up on the side. The T-shirt thing, it's called Nerd Styles, and it's just, honestly, we get, over the years, because I've been very fortunate to be doing this for going on 14 years now, I've seen a lot of video game shirts come through the mail from game publishers, and I like a nice minimalist game T-shirt. Like, I don't like it all branded with logos and all kinds of stuff. So I kind of I just wanted to make some video game inspired shirts that that I wanted to wear, so that's kind of where that came
Yeah.
from.
Okay.
And then really with the Tesla podcast, I my other big passion besides video games is cars, and specifically a couple of them. I mean, I had from built not too far from Scotland, over in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
My dream car, which I was lucky enough to own for 12 years, I had a DeLorean, and after I got rid of that because I was lucky enough to start a family here in San Francisco, and a 2-seat sports car is not the most practical choice there. But yeah, Tesla is a company that just fascinates me to no end, and I really think that they're the future of cars. I mean, they're high performance, they're sleek, but they're also incredibly efficient. They're very safe. I just love. I'm really just so excited by everything that Tesla is doing that I thought, you know what? Why don't I've got a lot of experience podcasting. I know how to do this. Why don't I just use a podcast as an outlet for this Tesla enthusiasm that I'm spouting to family and friends on a daily basis? And so yeah, that's where that came from. And gosh, I'm already 40 episodes in. I'm coming up on a year already.
That's quick.
But yeah, if you're curious, it's called Ride the Lightning. So if you just search for Tesla podcast or Tesla Ride the Lightning, you'll find it.
I think you just made a best friend out of my girlfriend when she listened to this. She absolutely loves Tesla.
Well, she should listen to my
I'm about to
podcast.
say,
Yeah, I think you just found a new listener too. So
I'll take it.
listen along with her sometime. Well, as we know, you've been involved with the Xbox platform for a long time, being Xbox related. What would you like to see with it in the future?
I'm very excited to see what a Phil Spencer Xbox piece of hardware looks like, because we all know he was of course part of the Xbox One, but he was running the game studios. He was running MGS, and I really think Phil is a capable, smart guy who is a gamer. I mean, he legitimately plays games on a daily basis. He gets games. He understands games. And so, for me, we don't have to chronicle the whole saga of the Xbox One again, but I think Phil is the right guy to have leading the Xbox team, and I'm very intrigued to see whatever the next piece of Xbox hardware is, whether it's a 1.5 kind of thing, or whether it's whether we wait a little longer and get a full-on new system. I think he's going to make it a very gamer-focused box, and I think it will. That is what it was. It's going to be a purpose-built gaming machine that might also happen to play, Netflix apps and HBO Go and all this stuff, kind of like the 360 was. I mean, that's what the 360 was, and that So I think we're going to be looking at a kind of lean, mean, powerful machine from Phil Spencer whenever and in whatever form it takes. But I really doubt that he is going to repeat the mistakes that the previous administration made with the Xbox One. I don't think the next Xbox will be more than $400. I don't think it will come out. I think they're going to make sure they're out at the same time or before Sony is, with whatever Sony's doing. I think I just think they're going to market it. They need to go after developers. So I think Phil's the right guy, and I think we're going to be getting a really just gamer-focused machine whenever it comes.
We ask all of our guests the same question, and that is, what video game character would you like to knock out, or could you knock out with one punch?
Oh my God, I love that.
Do you want some perspective?
Could I, or go ahead? Yeah.
Major Nelson said Frogger.
All right, that's a safe answer. That's a very safe answer.
The Xbox support team pretty much want animals, all knocked out from any computer game, and we've had the Duck Hunt dog a couple of times as well. So
PETA's not going to come after us, are they? I just noticed that they're all animals.
Clay said Paperboy. Yeah.
Boy, what are the poor paper boys just trying to deliver the paper? Somebody's trying to knock him out.
Assaulted at work.
Let's see, who would I want to knock out? That's an excellent question. What characters have I've been super annoyed by? I don't know. Yeah, that's. I'm blanking now on like who even. Maybe one of Sonic's crappy friends, like Knuckles. Knuckles like sucks. He's no
Knuckles
fun.
is cool.
Like I like Tails, but Knuckles is kind of. I guess maybe I'd just knock out Knuckles.
So another animal.
But I guess. But he's like a weird anthropomorphic. I don't know. Is he even really what is he anyway?
I don't know. Is he a hedgehog?
I think he's another hedgehog.
Actually, you know what? No, I got a better answer for you. Wolfenstein 3D. I want to knock out Hitler. How about that? That's a good answer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
You
that.
can go for it, yeah. That may be the best answer we've had yet.
All right,
Yeah, I
I'm
would
gonna
say
knock
so.
out Hitler.
Yeah.
Ryan is
Ryan, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out your busy schedule. It's been an absolute great chat. And in fact, one thing that I suppose we should ask, do you use Reddit? Do you check out Reddit much? Or
I have an account. I confess I'm not on there super often, but I do poke around from time to time. So yeah, it's the same as my Twitter handle, which is DMC_Ryan. So if you see that ID on there, that's me.
yeah. Well, look, thank you so much again for joining us, and all the
Happy
best.
to have hung out, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep,
Thank
great
you.
to meet you.
Cheers.
Likewise, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for that great interview that we haven't recorded yet. So I've got no idea if he even showed up. Right, so we're going to move on and continuing with the stories from the subreddit. Mikey, I think you've got one for us.
Yes, user JScotty28X, he posted a story to the subreddit. EA announces third-person Star Wars game being developed by Respawn Entertainment. Basically, with that, I mean, I'm totally excited for it. I'm like, I don't even care what it is. More Star Wars. All right, just as long as it's not a little sparse like Battlefront was. I mean, what would you guys like to see from a Star Wars game that coming from Respawn?
I would really like a strong narrative in the game, in the sense that I want a game where, yeah, the gameplay is as good as the story. You're playing it for each. I know that's to ask for everything else, but I want them to focus on building the story and the history of why we're doing what we're doing, whatever that's going to be. As well as just having a good gameplay mechanic. Like, for me, the Star Wars universe is so deep, and you could have many, many stories within that universe, and I just want to be wrapped up in a story where I can actually play it instead of going to the cinema. I suppose that could be said for most video games, though.
Yeah, well, did you guys, either of you, did you guys ever play the Knights of the Old Republic?
No, I've never played it.
Okay.
Played a little bit of the first one, played the entire second one.
Okay, so if it's anything like the Knights of the Old Republic, I mean, I think it's a good way to go, personally. I think it'd be a really good way to go.
But yeah, like, I'd always heard that Knights of the Old Republic should have been the game that I played for it. And it's a good, strong narrative, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. The gameplay, obviously, is a little weak because it's turn-based and you click buttons and it feels like WoW and single-player, but the narrative was, it kept you on the edge of your seat.
This is going to sound really, really obvious, but maybe Mass Effect?
You know, are you relating the two stories together? Because I'd say that Mass Effect was actually really similar to how Knights of the Old Republic. Of course, it's made by the same studio, so
Yeah.
obviously that's probably why. But I don't think that's what we're gonna get from Respawn.
What do you think we're going to get?
We're probably gonna get something like, and I don't want to put a curse on it, Jedi Academy. I feel
right,
because
okay.
they're an action-oriented developer. I'm hoping for something similar to Jedi Academy. And it could be a cross with gameplay mechanics similar to KOTOR or however you pronounce the acronym.
Yeah.
But I really feel like their gameplay is going to be what carries the game first and foremost.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Richard?
I have a lot of friends that like Mass Effect, and if it's anything like that, I have a feeling it's going to be really popular. I mean,
Just please
there's
have a
such
better
big
10-minute ending.
Hey, don't talk about the ending now. Might get a little sour. Anyways, no, if it's anything like Mass Effect, like that, maybe that idea, I would enjoy it. I like Mass Effect. I didn't play it that much, but I like the mechanics of it. So I would say that would be the best bet on my end. Go the route of Mass Effect, and it'll be successful.
And do you think it's going to be like the current episodes that are going on? Is it going to be in the past? Everything that they do now has to be canon. So
yeah, I really do think that they will try to make sure it's 100% canon. I mean, I think they're going to try to, how like Rogue One is going to be coming out here at the end of the year. They're going to have to find a point in that timeline where this can fit. I'm sure that they have, because I'm sure there's deals and backdoor conversations that happen between Disney and owning the rights with all this. So I think it has to be canon, and it has to be part of the episode somewhere.
Knights of the Old Republic is still canon, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We really should have came more prepared here. I'm going to research that question, but I'm assuming it's canon, which I think Knights of the Old Republic took place 1,000 years ago or so. So I'm going to guess they have a lot of space to work in, and my best guess would be that it's around 500 years. Anywhere in between now and KOTOR. Anytime in between, I think, is what we're going to see in terms of the timeline.
Right, okay. Well, all I know is I'm excited to find more. Any more Star Wars games they want to make is always a good thing. And then we actually played some Battlefield. I think I managed 2 rounds with you the other day, didn't I, Mikey?
Yeah, we got a few. You couldn't talk because your wife was sleeping, but...
Yeah, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something, but...
we still got it in, and then you obviously had to take off. But that was a fun game night. Yeah, it was definitely fun playing with you.
Let us know what you think the next Star Wars game is going to be like. When's it going to be set? What's it going to be exactly like? Give me your perfect Star Wars game in the Reddit comments below. That's us hit the end of another episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah,
Thanks
totally
for having
fun.
us on.
I think I'll be on next week with you too.
I think you are, Mikey. Yeah, you are.
Sounds good. I promise to be a little bit more awake instead of after a 12-hour shift.
Well, anyway, if people want to get a hold of us, as I said, you can do that in the comments below. You can also get us on Twitter at X1PartyChat. And if you have a few spare moments, don't forget to leave us a little review on iTunes or whatever your podcast platform is, and leave us some comments. But for another week, Xbox turn off.
Game on, baby. Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Can I just request Natalie Portman somewhere?
Please.
Please.
Only she turns into a giant swan. Okay, that reference is lost on you. Only if she turns into a giant swan.
Are you talking? You're talking about Black Swan?
Yeah, I'm going to cut that
Black
out.
Swan. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we do that again. We'll do that again.
Okay,
go ahead.
Only if she turns into a giant swan.
That scene in Black Swan, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, any of our female listeners.
Come on, Richard. We're podcasting here. It's supposed to be a family.
I know. I'm sorry. Female listeners, apologize. I promise I'm a nice guy.